I want to thank the chairman for holding this incredibly important hearing and for your leadership on this issue. I want to thank Senator Feinstein for spearheading the effort among the women senators and also your tremendous leadership on this important issue. And I'm very honored to co-sponsor not only Senator Klobuchar's bill, but also Senator Cornyn's bill. Thank you for your leadership and frankly the leadership of every member of this committee. I think what this demonstrates is this truly is a nonpartisan issue because we all understand that this is something that can impact anyone, and it's about who we are in the United States of America, that we all have to work together to end modern-day slavery and make sure that there's a zero tolerance policy when it comes to trafficking in this country. Today's hearing, I think, is a great example of how not only the women senators can work together on this important issue, but all of us can work together to make a real difference for victims of trafficking, but also going after those who are trafficking and anyone who is benefiting from it. And so I'm very glad you're going to take the step of passing not only Senator Cornyn's bill, but Senator Klobuchar's bill, because those two bills recognize who the real victims are and make sure that those victims are protected and that the perpetrators are held accountable. This work that is done across the country, I know that today you're going to hear from experts, and I want to thank them for what they do every day, both in law enforcement, service providers, to make a difference in people's lives and especially the victims of these horrible crimes. I'm very honored here to be here also with this distinguished panel, Senator Collins, Senator Gillibrand, Senator Mikulski, and the work that they have done on this. This work is work that I had the privilege of beginning when I was Attorney General of the state of New Hampshire, and I saw the challenges that law enforcement faced every day in rooting out these horrible crimes that unfortunately occur in the shadow. And one of the things I think that this hearing can do today, and all of us working together, is to take these crimes out of the shadow so that the American people understand that this is happening in their community, this is happening everywhere. And during my time as Attorney General and now as a U.S. Senator, I've really come to appreciate the important work done by those who serve victims in New Hampshire and across this country. I've had the privilege of working with the New Hampshire Coalition Against Domestic and Sexual Violence, which works tirelessly on behalf of victims of both domestic and sexual violence and trafficking throughout my home state of New Hampshire. Their work, combined with the efforts of local law enforcement and also the cooperation of state and federal law enforcement, is a true testament to what is happening at the state level and what we can support at the federal level to protect victims and to make our communities safer. As has been mentioned by all my colleagues today, we know that sex trafficking affects people from all walks of life and has far-reaching consequences with long-lasting effects. And that's why all of these approaches today, not only Senator Klobuchar's bill, Senator Cornyn's bill, but I'm very honored to also support Senator Collins' bill, which she mentioned earlier, because we have to get resources and assistance to the most vulnerable youth in our communities who are being targeted by these criminals. And so I'm honored to help Senator Collins and Senator Leahy, the ranking member on this committee, help introduce the Runaway and Homeless Youth and Trafficking Prevention Act. And I would join Senator Collins' request that this be a bill that this committee will take up following the important work that you're doing today, because this bill certainly is going to help runaway and homeless youth who are particularly susceptible to trafficking and often targeted and exploited by these criminals. In New Hampshire, Child and Family Services has successfully administered Runaway and Homeless Youth Act programs for nearly 20 years, and today offering an estimated 1,500 at-risk youth in New Hampshire the opportunity for a safer and brighter future. And I can assure you that this has made a difference in the lives of so many children in New Hampshire, to make sure that they are not victims of trafficking, to make sure that they have the support to get them out of the situation where they are being trafficked. Again, we've heard so many stories today, and my state, like any other state, we all have these stories, and they're horrific. Just last year in Salem, New Hampshire, police, local police, in coordination with special agents from Homeland Security, located a 15-year-old runaway from Boston at a motel in Salem, New Hampshire. Her boyfriend was using the internet to traffic her for sex. She had to see 5 or 6 clients a day, and this continued. The exploitation was horrific, and unfortunately, I wish I could say this was the only story, but we all know that this is happening every day in America, in every community, whether it's an affluent community or it is a community where there are more needs for resources. This hits everyone. What I've also heard from law enforcement and victim service providers in New Hampshire is the direct connection between drug trafficking and sex trafficking. And in New Hampshire, as in many places across the country, we have seen a proliferation of heroin, a dramatic increase of heroin sales and drug deaths, and law enforcement and victim providers are telling me there's a direct connection between heroin and sex trafficking and other types of trafficking. And make no mistake, we've talked about the criminal organizations that are benefiting from trafficking and how much money is coming to these organizations. But we also know that terrorist organizations are being fueled by this trafficking as well. So this is not only an issue about our safety and security, about our quality of life and what we stand for, but this is also about our national security and why we have to stop trafficking in this country and around the world. As this community moves forward with legislation, our top priority always has to be supporting the victims of these horrific crimes, making sure that they are treated with dignity and respect in the criminal justice system, making sure that they have the support in the community so that they can get back on their feet and lead quality lives. And we also have to prioritize prevention efforts so that we can prevent any other victim from falling to a trafficker or being put in this horrible situation. Finally, in terms of law enforcement, as a former prosecutor, I know that we have to go after these traffickers with everything we have. We have to make examples of them. We need people to understand in the community that if you are participating in trafficking in any way, that you will be made an example of in the community and that you will face the harshest punishment possible. And we need to ensure that our law enforcement agencies at all levels have the resources to combat trafficking. I want to thank Chairman Grassley for the opportunity to be here today. I want to thank Senator Feinstein for your incredible leadership on this, and for all of you on the committees, particularly Senator Klobuchar, Senator Corden, for your leadership. This is an issue I look forward to working with all of you on, and I'm very honored to be here today. Thank you for your important work.